going, guys? Welcome to today's video. So I don't know if y'all remember hearing or not in the last Boosted Mafia Meet video, but when I was going for the ride with Hayden, I talked about doing a car review. Now, that's true. I'm going to start my car review series, actually going to start today. So basically, we're going to start this car review with my car. I wanted to go over everything that I love, I hate about my car, and then after I do that, everything's going to be strictly performance-wise, you know? I want to basically take it down some nice back roads and see how it handles corners and stuff, suspension-wise, and then see how it can handle speed on decent straightaways, you know? And then after I do my car, when I start moving on to other people's cars, it's just going to be straight up performance. I'm going to be starting off with my car. My car is a 2004 Infiniti G35 coupe. It has black leather interior. It's the VQ35DE model. And basically, when they were designing this car, they started to basically get ready for the design of the R35 GTR. Now, this has the same body structure and I guess like style of the R35 GTR, but it is definitely not an R35 GTR by any means. The R35 GTR is way quicker, way faster, and just a lot more luxurious and more on the sporty side. So with that being said, this is not going to be a fast car by any means, but it's going to be a quick car. Now, I have done a few things, like I've added I've actually gone through two exhausts. First I went with a muffler delete, and then I went to the HKS dual catback exhaust with some Z1 test pipes. Then I decided I didn't like the sound, and it was still it was still pretty heavy compared to the stock exhaust. So I said, let me go even better. I wanted to do the Tomei Extreme TI exhaust, but I went with a Motordyne XYZ pipe as the Y pipe, just because those you can swap out the straight pipe after the Y pipe with either a resonator or a high flow cat. Or I also have the Z1 high flow intake. Now that really is just a short ram intake, but it gets the job done for right now, because eventually I do plan on boosting this car, and it will be in an updated video of this car review. So with that being said, here's a few things that I love and a few things that I hate about this car. First thing, I love how when you're steering, you can feel every little movement in the road. You feel everything, and I love that because I know where I'm at on the road. I know what I'm hitting, where to stay in and where to stay out of, and it lets me feel everything. Whereas my mom's Toyota Camry is a 2007. It's just that electronic steering, and you can't really tell what's going on, you know? Another thing I love is how well this car can handle corners. This car leans in with the corners, but at the same time, it's just a little too much, so I do plan on upgrading suspension next. I love the look of this car. It's got the R35 vibe, and it's just very clean car. You know, you think of a sports car when you see this, and I've actually had people say, ask me, is that my sports car? And I'm like, sports car, you know? So I really like the vibe that this car gives off. I also dig the sound. The sound is just like an R35 GTR, just without the airy turbo sound, which I will be getting eventually. Except this will be a single turbo. I'm not positive. I'm going to talk to Z1 Motorsports about that, but that's for another video. So this exhaust has completely changed how this car sounds. It's a lot louder, and it just has that nice, just rumbly, I guess, throaty noise it gives, and I love the way it sounds. The tone is amazing. A few things that I hate though. Nissan could have done a lot better with the seats. When you get in and out, they tear. The leather stitching is just not good sometimes, and they tear. The motor and the windows, they die out, and they don't want to lift up sometimes. The key fob is very weird because it's just a crappy little rubber piece around two pieces of plastic stuck together to cover the buttons, and now it's starting to give out on me. I'm gonna have to get a new one. That'll be coming soon as well. They have a very poor engine design. The engine design is kind of stupid. Basically, after you hit a like a good 100,000 miles, valve covers start to get oil inside of them, and the seals start to go away or like get damaged, and your oil is around where the spark plugs and ignition coils are, and when you go to change your spark plugs, you find oil on the ignition coil, and it's not good for your car. Now, it doesn't affect it immediately, but it could eventually cause your car to misfire. Now, this car, still, I mean, despite all that, I absolutely love this car, and with that, like with all that, it's the best car I could have asked for, and I do not plan on getting rid of this car ever. I want to build it and then keep it. And then keep it with my new cars that I plan to get and take it out as a weekend car, you know? Now, things may end up changing, but for right now, this is probably the best car I could have asked for as a first car. So with all that being said, we're going to get on to the performance side of things. Okay guys, so now we are on to the performance side of this review. This is basically going to test not only the speed, but the suspension of this car. So let's go ahead and get testing it real quick. Not bad on speed, not bad on speed. Maybe if this car wasn't in the way, you know, we'd be fine. But don't worry, we'll be taking it one more time after this, just on the way back. Then we'll turn into Jordan's neighborhood. So. right, here we go. All right, here we go. This is a hard one. All right. All right. Wow, that was actually really fun. So if I'm being honest, this car just it was handling so perfectly to me through those corners. Now, it definitely has room for improvement. That's why I'm going to be lowering it with some nice BC Racing coilovers, and I will be getting some Sibon, or not Sibon, Ibach, shit, I don't know, Ibach anti-roll bars. That's what it is. Ha! Anyways, that was probably the fastest I've ever taken those roads, and I do not plan on doing that with all of the cars I review, because I do not plan on being that crazy with people's cars that I do not own. But like the way that felt in this car was absolutely phenomenal. Like I can't believe that handled that well. I'm proud of my car for that. So definitely room for improvement though. It handled speed very well. The corners definitely had to go over the line a little bit, but it still proved to be a very fun and like solid ride. So I honestly, for this review, this car is probably one of the best cars you get as a first time driver, especially if you're getting into road course or if you are getting into just cars in general. This has the perfect amount of mods you're gonna want to look at for that. Has everything you're gonna want like for taking on Road of Atlanta or something like that, because they have like Z Nationals too, and you can take this on it, and that might be an option for this car. So overall, I'm proud of this car. Okay guys, so I just want to say before the video ends, I'm not going to be reviewing all cars like that. Yeah, Jordan's right here next to me. That was just a first try. I know y'all mostly got a lot of this up here, but it's because I'm so tall. And I was wanting to try the chest mount, but that's just going to be too low. So I'm thinking from now on, I'm going to probably stick with that, either right there or maybe closer up, just to get my reaction to the car and just see how, you know, driving it is, you know, and me talk about how the car feels. I'm going to be changing it up a few times just to get used to a good like feel of like where I want the camera to be. So Let me know what y'all think. If y'all like the video, please subscribe and like the video and comment, and I'll see you guys in the next car review.